Today, we're looking at two compact crossovers, the Subaru Forester and the Mazda CX-5. We'll drive through and see how each crossover evolved in technology and style. We'll also see which model years are the best to buy used, which ones to avoid, and more. So hop in and let's go for a ride. In 1997, Subaru announced an Impreza-based crossover. It was named the Forester. It was larger, it was taller than the Impreza, featured a spacious interior, 7.5 inches of ground clearance, and came equipped with all-wheel drive. The Forester had all the capabilities of an SUV, but drove like a road car. The Forester was lower than a regular SUV, which meant there was less risk of rollover when cornering. Subaru marketed the Forester as SUV tough. The first generation came with a 2.5-liter H4 engine with dual overhead camshafts. Later, this double overhead cam engine was replaced by a single overhead camshaft engine. It was available with either a 4-speed automatic or 5-speed manual transmissions. The standard all-wheel drive system used by the Forester used a 60-40 split to power the front wheels and rear wheels. The all-wheel drive system, however, dynamically adjusted the power split as needed. For example, when driving uphill, the all-wheel drive system transferred more power to the rear. And when the weight shifted forward, such as going downhill, the Forester added more power to the front end. This gave the Forester sporty handling and better on-road capability. It was also easier to load cargo into a Forester since it was lower in height compared to other crossovers of the time. A few years later, Subaru released the second-generation Forester. It too shared from the Impreza platform and came standard with all-wheel drive, with the same 2.4-liter H4 boxer engine. But there were noticeable improvements. For one, it was even larger than the previous generation, with increased cargo space, yet it weighed 100 pounds less. This was made possible due to an aluminum bonnet, perforated rails, and a hydroformed subframe. Later model years of this generation saw a turbo engine added. Then Subaru made the Forester even larger. The third-generation Forester was rounder and less boxy. It was 3 inches longer, 1.5 inches wider, and 4.3 inches taller. Its wheelbase also increased by another 3.5 inches. Although, oddly enough, the interior and cargo space of the crossover didn't increase at all. On the contrary, it was decreased. Under the hood was a new 2.5L H4 boxer engine that output 170 horsepower. All-wheel drive remained standard, and drivers still had a choice between a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. Around this time, Mazda started designing a new compact crossover based on the Mazda Managi. The new vehicle was released as a CX-5, and it was the new competition in the growing crossover market. Mazda designed the CX-5 by focusing driver-passenger comfort and connection to the car or oneness with the car. Mazda engineers were inspired by the Japanese concept Jinba Itai, which means horse and rider as one, and a theme reflected in many aspects of the vehicle, from the responsiveness of the throttle to the driver-focused cockpits and to the flexible steering. The CX-5 was also the first Mazda vehicle to feature the full suite of Sky Active technology to provide fuel-efficient engines and transmissions, resulting in lower emissions and lower fuel consumption. The CX-5 shared the same platform as the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6. The original 2013 model was offered in 3 trim levels: Sport, Touring, and Grand Touring, each powered by a 155 horsepower 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 6-speed manual transmission with standard front-wheel drive. A 6-speed automatic transmission with an optional all-wheel drive system was also available. In 2014, Mazda introduced a new, more powerful engine. The Touring and Grand Touring were now standard with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with 184 horsepower. While this new engine was more powerful, it didn't impact the CX-5's renowned fuel economy. Further refinements led to the 2016 model year with revised suspension setup to optimize performance. Improved vehicle sound insulation for a quieter cabin was also added. The body of the car had also been redesigned to make it slightly smoother. Meanwhile, Subaru released the 4th-generation Forester with the 2014 model year. This new generation was 1.4 inches longer and 0.6 of an inch wider. The wheelbase also grew by 1 inch. Subaru also introduced their EyeSight driver assistance as an option for the Touring trim Forester. But the most significant update came with the addition of the continuously variable transmission, CVT. The Subaru CVT technology provided for advantages in linear acceleration and performance and less wear wear and tear on the transmission, while also offering improved fuel economy and lower emissions. And the 2.5 premium trim still came with a 6-speed manual transmission. Other models received the new CVT-S standard. Not to be outdone, Mazda overhauled the CX-5 in 2017. This marked the beginning of the new generation CX-5. It sported a more aggressive and more modern appearance. This new generation featured 4 trim levels. The 2.5-liter engine output more horses than before. This engine now came with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Also, Mazda discontinued offering manual transmissions in the CX-5 that year. Mazda again revamped the CX-5 lineup in 2019. They added the Grand Touring Reserve and Signature as the top 2 trim levels. Not only did they offer more standard features than previous models, but these also came equipped with high-quality leather upholstery and wood trim, plus a 250 horsepower, 2.5 turbocharged 4-cylinder engine taken from larger CX-9 SUV. The 2020 model saw a major upgrade to the standard safety suite, including adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, forward collision warning, and pedestrian detection. Meanwhile, Subaru launched the Generation 5 Forester, and they increased the Forester size again for additional cargo and cabin space. The new Forester came equipped with only one engine, 2.5 H4 mated to a CVT with a standard all-wheel drive. And tech features like EyeSight, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto were now standard. The Forester had only one engine option because Subaru dropped the turbocharged Forester 2.0 XT model in 2019. The 2021 Forester is currently Subaru's #1 selling model and has even past the popular Outback wagon. In fact, the Forester sales make up 30% of all Subaru sales now. Subaru also dropped the 6-speed manual transmission in the Forester in 2019. It's in line with what many car manufacturers have been doing, since sales of manuals have been consistently dropping in recent decades. And this is a generation of the current Forester. It rides on the new Subaru global platform. Subaru has invested $1 billion to build the new platform. It offers a large 76.1 cubic feet of cargo space when the back seats are folded flat. Kelley Blue Book rates the new Forester as best in its class in terms of value. We're talking about affordability, good fuel mileage, and ability to retain its relative value with a 5-year depreciation of 51% according to IC Cars. What about safety? IHS gave the new Forester the highest top safety pick award. Subaru attributes its superior ranking in front crash prevention due to its proprietary EyeSight driver assist technology. As far as 2021 Mazda CX-5, the most notable upgrade is the infotainment system. Larger screen on the dash, it's more than 3 inches larger. New Mazda Connect interface. It's also possible to get 250 horsepower turbo engine outside of the top 2 trim levels. The cabin space is sufficient, although it's smaller than what competitors are offering. There's no such thing as a perfect car, and all cars have some issue, whether minor or major. So if you're looking at a used Mazda CX-5 or Subaru Forester, which models should you avoid and which are worth considering? You might want to be a bit cautious with the 2016 CX-5. That model year received high ratings in more major issues like engine and transmission and over-reliability, but it also received the most volume of customer complaints than any other model year. Most of the complaints had to do with lights, for example, blinkers going out prematurely, failing daylight running lamps, problems with windows and windshields, and low reliability of in-car electronics. So which models should you look at? 2017 and newer models have better crash test ratings in general compared to other models. Also, the 2017 was redesigned for improved overall ride, dampened cabin noise, and that year Mazda included the Mazda Connect infotainment system, so if tech features are a priority for you, that year can be a good one. The CX-5 in general has an average lifespan of 200,000 miles, and it also has a lower annual maintenance cost compared to the Forester. On average, the CX-5 can cost some $447 per year, which is $185 less than the Forester's average maintenance cost of $632 a year. When it comes to reliability, J.D. Power and NHTSA have estimated that no other compact SUV on the market can be more reliable than the Mazda CX-5. Besides having the highest quality ratings on the market, the CX-5 also offers more standard power and torque than the Forester, and better safety features and interior technology. Well, how about the Subaru Forester? The worst model to buy used is probably 2014. Many owners reported excessively high oil consumption, even as little as 26,000 miles. Fixing this can run you an average of $2,000. The 2014 and 2015 models reportedly had problems with the transmission, interior accessories, electrical issues, and faulty suspension. Those models also had the most reported complaints, so it's probably best to avoid avoid those years if possible. If you're looking for a used Forester, then what is the most recommended years in the models between 2011 and 2013? Well, those are the best years. They were part of the third generation when Subaru used the FB25B engine in the Forester. In general, a Forester's lifespan ranges between 200,000 to 250,000 miles, or about 13 to 17 years. Of course, you can expect to exceed these averages if you regularly maintain it and apply good driving habits. Last year, Subaru sold almost 177,000 Foresters in the U.S. Compare that to Mazda, who sold 146,000 CX-5s. But now, what do you think? Which one of these two crossovers would you choose? The Subaru Forester or the Mazda CX-5? Please comment below and share your opinion. If you like this episode, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your support.